First off, rest in peace, neighborhood nip. I ain't crip, but I'm on that neighborhood shoot. Building business, it's that black owned. If you hustle, better hustle till your pack gone. If you work, better work till your back hurt. And if you rap, make it better than your last verse. Yeah, more lyrics. Stick and move, Javante
AJ, El Presidente, Eddie Kane University. Hill gon' heal, regardless. You, Buchanan, Bethel High School, by way of 3-Man Weave, LLC.
Michelle, producer, Faith Over Fear.
You can catch this wave from the Marlins to the Mariners. Doing things you can't believe. It's the 3-Man Weave.
What up? We come at you with topics. It's another episode of the 3-Man Weave podcast. We are back from a week hiatus. And we see our good brother over there with that fresh tan. With the hand popping up on the screen. You know what I mean? I see another shadow. Who else we got in the building? Yep.
Come say hey, darling.
We got the same gang with me.
Yep.
You know,
hey, y'all.
I am your host, AJ. Who I got with me today?
Who do I got with me today? I ain't gonna say nothing.
State your name, gangster.
State your name. It's your boy Hill, and he'll go here regardless, baby. Let's get it.
Yes. And as I mentioned, we are back from a week-long hiatus. But
much needed.
If you don't know where to find us, where could they find us, good brother?
No, it's catching me. I'm the one.
You can catch us on all major podcast platform, 3-Man Weave, Instagram, Twitter, 3-Man Weave _ Your email is hitpodcast.3.weave. gmail.com. Oh man, yeah.
Throwing my man off his pivot, dog. Come on, this ain't
the
showtime. I know. Hey, but look, man. Like I said, we back with another one, and I'm trying to think. Do we want to go ahead and just where you want to start? You want to just jump right into the biggest thing that we got going right now? Is that a pause?
That was definitely pause worthy, but I mean, you know, we're gonna relax because hey, y'all close the door. We had I'm gonna still say a good Western Conference. Close the door, please. Thank you. It didn't go as long pause as we as expected or wanted, but there's some good basketball, man. So that series is completed. So I think we should start right there, man.
Yeah, for sure. And I think my
God.
Is it normally looked at like that?
Nah, you didn't peep. We got it's an update. Yeah.
Oh, snap. Oh,
yeah.
There we go. But yeah, I truly believe that as the playoffs went on, it looks like, oh, this was surprising. Like people didn't expect the series to kind of look the way it did, but you know, and if you actually, is that a Mountain Dew? I know that ain't, boy. Well, you ain't worried about the LO5. You got Snip, you good. But anyway,
the day is over.
The day is over. But nah, they
I might not work no more. That's a whole another topic. We can stay there if you want.
I do not want to stay there.
Okay.
Oh my goodness. Hey, dog, Vanderbilt has a no-hitter going in the regionals of the College World Series. Vanderbilt is no joke when it comes to baseball. They can't get shit right in football.
But baseball,
they get it cracking. But what I was gonna say, you know, I was getting long-winded there, but I'll just jump to it. If you actually look at the grand scheme of the season, the outcome of that series wasn't that shocking when you actually take it how good the Thunder have been all year, and then with the MVP basically playing like an MVP, and you know, Daigneault, I gave him hell and said, hey, you know, he's a new coach. Defensively, he figured, all right, we know who can't beat us in this series. He just made sure of that. And it worked. And that one game that they lost, it looked spooky. But even then, I was just like, I don't know.
How often are they gonna do that? The thing about it is, we do understand. We keep getting a good reminder every playoff that the playoffs is about matchups. For sure. Like the thing about when they went against, of course, they beat the brakes off the Grizzlies. Grizzlies didn't stand a chance. Yeah. But when they went against the Nuggets, and the Nuggets just showed that they just have championship pedigree, and you have to beat them. You have to knock them out. And they went through the ebbs and flows of that aspect of it. Of we gave up game one. We mess around almost down 3-1, and we almost tricking this up. You know what I'm saying? Let's lock in and let's show them that we are the better team. You know what I'm saying? Hey, unfortunately, Aaron Gordon ended up getting hurt on the last game, but they beat the brakes off in that last game. Did it really matter? What was he gonna do? Make it instead of losing by 30, gonna lose by 20?
Yeah. It was almost that series was almost like in football when you have that, like when you looking ahead a week and you end up to that, like you end up losing to the trash team and they wake you up and then you come out and you playing like your rival or something like that, and it's like, oh damn, now we getting a best shot for real. Like they know like we can't play around for like and gotta lock in almost type thing, and they start seeing their mistakes, and they kind of came out like, hey, we know what we need to do, we know what we came to do, and they did it.
And the thing about like you say, the way that the season went, and we should have expected this. Yes, we should have expected the Thunder to handle business the way that they handle. The thing about it was the T-Wolves played better basketball in the playoffs than they showed in the regular season. And on top of that, maybe it was because that they just had favorable matchups.
Yeah.
And it just showed, I guess it gave, I'm speaking for myself, I guess it gave the illusion that they could actually hang with the T-Wolves. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I do believe that they are just not this damn bad. You know what I'm saying? Even though they made it look that they're bad.
But again,
because I kind of blame Finch. Yeah, it
was the matchup, and I think, like you said, when you say you blame Finch, it's like you can't get nobody else going Finch. Like you can't get like you don't have a counter move to what they're throwing at you, because it's like, all right, they throw it like we saw throwing the box of one at Ant, and just every time he get the ball and he drive, it's 3-4 dudes around him every single time. You can't get something where it's like you can negate that, you can counter that, you can give some people some actions to free some people up, because yes, I understand the zone is kind of built so you can kind of rotate a little bit, and so you're not always having someone wide open. But when it's 4 people around you, you got to be able to have something. I understand Ant is your star, and he was trying to do everything that he could. Like, I'm not gonna kill Ant for doing anything, because also is it Uchiwali or what, Mike? You want your star to have the ball in his hands, or you want him to be a distributor? Because any other time people be like, oh, when it come down to crunch time, you got to want the ball. Ant did what he was supposed to do. Ant was, he took the ball in his hands. He did try and get his teammates involved, but when it came down to it, he made sure that, hey, I'm the leader of this team and I'm gonna take control of it. But it just didn't work. And like I said,
I honestly, I'm sorry. Go. I honestly really don't know what people expected him to do.
Yeah.
To be quite honest. And if he was out there just jacking, people would have been criticizing that. You know what I'm saying? So I guess people wanted him to do that, and I guess go down swinging like that in that aspect. But it's just the fact that it's like, okay, man, their game plan was for him to make the right plays, and he was making the right plays. It was just the fact that they got a game where Jaden Daniels had 20. Nikhil Walker, Alexander Walker, he had 20 game. It was I think DVD DiVincenzo. I think he had 20 that game. I think that game plan went to perfection. Actually, that game, they just couldn't pull it out. Yeah, pause. It's just the fact that I here's the thing that I want to say. I don't think we need to overly. We got to find a happy medium. We don't need to overly make a
No need to
bold
panic.
statement.
No need to panic.
It's not that we don't need to bet. I think they do need to be assertive. I think they do need to understand that they can't just take the ant approach and just say that, yeah, I mean, I'm only 23, I'll get here again. Like, you cannot be that like nonchalant. You know what I'm saying? But I
Because there's different
doesn't flow that way.
scenarios.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
yes, Ant can say I'm only 23, but as a franchise, you have certain things to do and certain standards to live up as well. So Ant can be like, I'm only 23, but you as a franchise, you have to go back and assess what do we need on this team so that we could take the next step next year.
And I got Dane said they had favorable matchups throughout the playoffs. He talked about the T-Wolves, and they did, and they took advantage. Take advantage
as you're supposed to do.
But what that does is that does give you confidence, and
Of course.
so now with that, so now it's like, okay, man, hey, we can do this. And sometimes that blind confidence is a factor. Here's the thing. I think that they are all learning. This is the learning process. Finch learned. Think about it. When they got to the Western Conference Finals last year and they went against the Mavs, they did not understand how to exploit Luka.
Right.
They did not understand that aspect. Luka still was doing. Luka never played defense. You know what I'm saying? But they didn't exploit that enough to it to be a factor. So what did they do the next time when they played Luka in the playoff? When they played the Lakers in the playoff, they made sure that whoever Luka was guarding, we are going to take advantage. So they learned from that mistake.
That series almost reminded me of Waterboy when the kicker was scanning down the line on the onside kick. There's my bit. So because it was just
So what I'm saying is that learning aspect. So you should have seen how. I'm not giving Finch a pass. He should have seen how Ant was being defended, and they should have figured out some actions to free him up. Now, at the same time, that's hard because Dort by himself is a defender. So if you get Ant off the ball and bro, Luke Dort's like ball denial, pause, is elite anyway. His on-ball defense is elite. So it's hard to try to get him free up some action. And so it's hard to get Ant off the ball to try to free him up. Now, when he's on the ball, they got all the attention. Everybody's coming in. They hard hedging. They doing everything. They playing it like they play a matchup zone. They doubling. They doing everything as possible. I mean, he goes to the paint. It's 4 people, 3-4 people around him, and they going up contesting straight up. It's like they're playing disciplined defense, great basketball. It's like you got to figure out something to free him up. Now, I did like what Jay Williams said after all the hyperbole stuff that they was doing on ESPN, but he finally said something that actually made sense. He actually said, "Oh, you need to start to get you a post game, get your Kobe, your MJ on." Now, of course, when you say Kobe and MJ, of course, your head goes, "Oh my God, It goes, but you got to actually listen to what he said. It's like if you get to a post game, you can actually see the double team coming and do other things. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
So if he can get a post game, that expands his game because we know you can take anybody off the dribble. You can bop with anybody. You can shoot from anywhere. You can do anything on the offensive end. But if now you get so you get you a post game, now some things is a little bit differently.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
And again, we've beat this, one to death, but basically, like we said, matchups matter. And sometimes not even just if a team is a bad matchup for you, it makes it even tougher when the team is just better than your team anyway. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's really not that I have, I don't have too much, I don't want to say criticism because I feel like that sounds hard, like even more harsh than what it needs to be, but I don't have too much to say about, the Timberwolves because they were just a better team and they're a bad matchup for you because you're talking about Lou Dort's defense. Damn near who can't play defense damn near on that on this OKC team. You feel me? And so it's just like in the league where a lot like we see so many people, and so many teams have so many players that you can all right, that's gonna be our mark on defense. That's gonna be the guy who we pick on. who do you really pick on that OKC team when it comes to defense?
Yeah,
and so
you would have to to answer that question, you would have to try to body up Chet. And
but
if Chet does have he got the length to negate some of that.
But he don't have the size. But again, how many of these it's only like what 2-3 centers, maybe 4 centers in the league that you feel like, all right, like is a true center and would actually go down and exploit Chet and bang and move him.
No. I didn't say the Timberwolves could do it.
No. I was
just kind of answering your question, to somewhat. If you got to pick something,
But that's what I was about to say, and so that's what it was going to take me to the point where it was just like, not many teams are built to even exploit the defensive weakness that the Thunder have, because if everybody's so point guard and wing dominant, they got you, because now you get to have Chet, out on the wing guarding some people that are trying to dribble and drive, and even though he may be like Slender Man out there, he can beat you to the spot and make you, pick up your dribble, make you have to, take mid-range shots and stuff like that, which makes it tough, and you don't have to bang with him in the paint. But we saw, when Jokic, when they played Jokic was able to do his Jokic things.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, all right, we can't get him, we can't have him all over, all right. This is one of them episodes. Damn it.
Yeah, I think we are wild.
This is just one of them episodes.
Just pause the whole episode.
Yeah, look, we just got to put pause in the title.
I know the nice, not the nice thing to do, but the thing to do, everybody keeps saying is, KD is going to just solve everybody's problem. You just pick a team and you just add KD, and KD is going to solve everybody's problem. Oh, you put KD on the Spurs. Oh man, Spurs is this. You put KD on the Rockets. Oh man, the Rockets this. You put KD in Miami. Miami's back. You put KD on the Timberwolves, and this is no disrespect to KD whatsoever. KD is an all-time great. KD is an all-time great. I'm not disrespecting KD. KD is not a free agent, and that's what I think. I think people keep missing this point. And he doesn't have a cheap contract, so it's you're going to have to give up valuable assets to that. I get it. If you just added KD to the Timberwolves, okay, cool. If you just added KD to any of these other teams, you know what I'm saying? Cool, but if you had to trade for him and give up key asset, that's a totally different dynamic of your team. And this point, and on certain teams, I get it. Certain teams, KD ain't changing nothing. He's not moving the needle on none of these teams. Because if he was still moving the needle, the Suns would have made the playoffs. And I didn't say the Suns had to win a championship. I said the Suns would have made the playoff if KD was moving the needle.
Play in. We didn't make the play in. And we've talked about the NBA before, and it's just like, dog, 1 to 2 players is enough to at least get there. They couldn't get there. You know what I'm saying? And so, like you said, if KD was going to be that much of a needle mover, then you would have saw a little bit something different in Phoenix. Because to me, if you have to take away key pieces to bring in KD, it's going to sound crazy. But with the way that this played out, what actually truly changes on the outcome of this series?
See what they're assuming is, Ant needed some help with scoring, and they can't just play Ant like they play Ant, they can't just box in one and match up zone them and double team Ant like they did if they got KD out there. That's the simple logic. You know what I'm saying? That's the simple logic. But right. I'm assuming bare minimum in a T-Wolves trade, Jaden McDaniels has to go. If Jaden McDaniels is not on this team gets nowhere. Right. You know what I'm saying? He's that important to how they operate. You know what I'm saying?
Because also what he does because guess what he does on the defensive side?
Yes.
Because and And again, like we said, because to me, what I keep going back to is, like I said, you got Lou Dort on, and like you said, and they still doing, kind of they boxing one, but then you still let's not forget, you still got, a Jalen Williams, you still got a Chet Holmgren, and you still got an Isaiah Hartenstein, you still got a Brandon Kaysen, you got Caruso. Those are all bodies that you are still going to be able to throw at KD, old in basketball terms, KD, and at Ant. So it's like, even still, if you lose a Naz Reid or Jalen McDaniel, any of those, it's going to make your team look a whole lot different. And then, again, if you got to get Rudy Gobert played off the floor, then things look a little bit different.
Like I said, I understand if KD was a free agent and KD just walked on this team.
And you could just go.
Now this is different. Now the conversation is totally different. I think the next step for them is to get Rob Dillingham to actually be
really assert himself and be a viable product, not a product, just be a viable contributor to this Timberwolves team, because that would go a long way in building up their depth, building up their their scoring prowess, spacing, all of that. It would truly help.
I think, like I said, I think it helps them speed the game up. I help if he can be good. Like, if he can be good, I think it changes. I think now that changes the dynamic of how they can operate. You know what I'm saying? I think that's the next step. You know what I'm saying?
And one of the things that I really wanted to see from the Timberwolves when they really start going to that, kind of that matchup zone, or the box and one, and kind of just that zone play. I wanted to see Finch kind of put that team in transition a little bit more and not allow them to kind of just set up and really get back and set up that defense and play in the half court. I wanted to see them run, and because they have some of these athletic dudes, and I know OKC has a lot of long athletic wings and stuff as well, but I think it kind of negates some of the defensive strategy that they had to really key in on Ant. So that's what I wanted to see, but I just didn't. I don't feel like they did that enough.
Yeah, well, transition comes from
missed
defense.
Shots. Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, missed shots as well, but like I say, also defense. Like I said, if they was playing better defense, they could have, and they wasn't playing bad defense.
They weren't playing bad defense, but
then, like I said, I get it, but they just needed Rob Dillingham. We don't even know if he's good, but like, I think that he could have changed it. I think if he is good, he changes the dynamic of their whole offense. I think they can get more transition like you want to. I think they can speed up things. I think you can't just load up on Ant if you want to.
Yeah, and I think that's what's really going to make things really tough on them. So I know we still got this Eastern Conference series going, but since we're on the West, and I think we talked about the T-Wolves next step. Do you have any more that you want to talk about for the T-Wolves, or?
I'm actually done with the T-Wolves. I think, like you say, they have currently constructed. Like I said, they have everything that they need, because they got how often in this playoff do we see ISO Randall?
Not often.
They got a good Randall in this playoffs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like I said, and Rudy didn't get played off the floor. Like I said, he wasn't nothing on offense, but I mean, Rudy Gobert, like
he was still able to basically be on the floor and contribute in the areas that you want. Like, that's what you brought him in to contribute for. And so that's the thing.
You could have got something better from Naz Reid. I understand.
Yeah.
And, but at the end of the day, your bench was still good. They had the young boy. I cannot think of his name right now. I want to say it's Shannon Thomas or something like that. He showed up in one game, and it was like, okay, if we can start getting consistent minutes from him, now we actually got more bench depth and things to build on. Like I said, I don't want to keep saying the same thing, but I do think Rob Dillingham is the key to unlocking a lot of things if he can be good. But yeah, that's it. That's all I have for them.
Yeah, and so before we move on, because the ESPN question is it's coming with the way that the CBA is set up. Is there a team better constructed to go on a dynasty run in this new era than OKC?
No, absolutely not. It's no other team. There is no other team currently constructed. It's a possible. I don't know. It could. The Spurs could. The Spurs could alter some of this stuff if they can get it. If they can get in the playoffs, they get a healthy.
They could throw a wrench into it, but
yeah, they could.
Right now, boy.
Because even now, like they're only paying Shea, right? And they have time to pay Chet, and when it's time to pay Chet, and then Chet is going to be on the rookie max, so that ain't gonna be crazy. Jalen Williams, I mean, you got his
bird rights.
Jalen Williams is gonna be regular, a regular good max, you know what I'm saying? Even though he was NBA 13, but I'm not sure it's about to be his first time being paid, so his number's not gonna be crazy. And at the end of the day, you got so many first round picks. If they
if anybody get too good, hey, we'll trade you for some more draft picks, and then just use one of these draft picks.
Think about
we can trade going to be high.
We could trade you for more draft picks and go, or we could trade you and the draft picks that we already got for your equivalent or a lesser than player for with a better contract. Like for example, hypothetically, I'm not saying that they can do this, but they're going to do this. But hey, we about to trade Jalen Williams for Derek White. You know what I'm saying? Like, you get Derek White on a regular. Now he's on a good contract, but it'd be a regular contract for OKC. You still got draft pick. You get somebody to play a different role. It's just hypothetically, but I'm just saying somebody in that ilk, you can do something like that. It's just I didn't understand the plan. Like when they just kept hoarding draft picks and getting draft picks, and I was like, okay, cool. And then I said,
that boy Sam Presti got vision.
But on top of that, Chet still got time to ascend. Like Chet still ain't really reached his potential yet. You know what I'm saying? He just good.
I'm about to say this year 3 or 2 for Chet?
I think this is technically year 3, but it's year 2.
Okay, yeah. Let me just double check. But yeah, so it's like, and then that Isaiah Hartenstein move, that looked good. So it's just like, man.
And then let's say if it don't work, you move on from him, and get another one. But like
this is year 3, but that first year was injured. So he's played. This is technically year 3, but he's only played 2 years.
I don't want to count my eggs before they hatch, because who's to say, like, they are playing the best. They are the best team in the NBA. They should win, but it's like they haven't won yet. But like I say, they are definitely built to last, and then on top of that, the whole team young. I think the oldest person is Caruso.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I don't even think Caruso really old. He just looked old.
Yeah. Let's see. Caruso. How old are you?
He may be 30 now at this point.
Yeah, because Caruso was born in 94. So yeah.
Yeah, how old is that?
He's 31.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so
yeah. Well, look at it. So there's only 3 players that have been in the league. No, there's 4. So they have 4 players. So Shea's been in the league for 6 years, but Shea's still young as hell because he was born in 98.
Mm-hmm.
Lou Dort been in the league 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And he born in 99. So he younger than Shea. Then you got Kendrick Williams. He been in the league 6 years. Hartenstein been in the league 6 years, and Caruso been in the league 7 years. Everybody else is like 3, 2, 1, 2 rookies. Bro, like they set up, and then like, and who knows about? They gonna mess around and got some rights to some foreign players that we don't even know about. They gonna come over and start killing.
I believe they do. I believe they do.
Yeah,
I,
no.
be-
So
I
they
believe
got
they do. I believe they have a foreign player already on their roster that hasn't came over yet. And
it's the Nikola Topic player from Serbia.
so come on, bro. Like like
Bro, he is I'm looking at him. But so apparently he tore his ACL.
mm-hmm.
But bro's a 6'6" point guard.
Yes.
So yeah, so we got a 6'6" point guard that's coming over from Serbia. Yeah, I just don't know about these anybody that's going to be able to challenge them. But we got some good young teams out here, so who knows what they're going to be able to do. But right now, man, OKC looking scary for the future with what they can do.
And they showed the precedent of moving on for a player for another player. Like they did it with Josh Giddey. Like they moved Josh Giddey and got Caruso. Like they've shown and then they didn't even have to give him assets to get. So it might get spooky for the league because they was prepared for anything. Like they were prepared for the old CBA. They prepared for the new CBA. They just prepared because
Sam Presti's a bad man.
Shea ascended to a whole nother level. You got Jalen Williams to get to an all NBA level. And like you said, Chet ain't reached nowhere near his potential yet. This could get nasty. Like,
bro, like they could legit get they could legit have basically, almost got, I know Shea's technically not homegrown, but they got him young enough where this could be a homegrown big three damn near again.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, then they have the assets to keep moving around. And yeah, this could get nasty, bro.
And the thing about it is what's really crazy is we talk about, how they, with the second apron and stuff like that. They could, like, even with signing like their own players, say they have to, they give maxes to Shea, Jalen, and Chet. They got the draft capital where it won't affect them because they can just draft their role players in a sense. So even if they do come to a point where it's like we want to pay the max for all of our homegrown players and put them on max contracts and go into these certain aprons or whatever, you got the draft picks where you could just still build out a team.
Yeah,
that's the scary part. And so and then like you say, like even if they do want to, trade one of their young players and go get someone else and go get an established star and takes them into, a different apron. Again, you can just draft your role players. You can get on, like, you don't have to go out here and get these old, washed up, vets on the vet minimum. You can get high upside young dudes.
And
that's scary.
The funny thing about, and on top of that, they could possibly get some of these quality vet minimum dudes that just want to ride the coattail to a championship. You feel what I'm saying? They're like, oh, you need a big? Oh man, here I come. What I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oh, you need a backup guard? Oh yeah. I'll come, I'll come get the vet minimum because I know we about to get a championship. Oh man, it's it could get nasty, bro.
Yeah.
And the funny thing, I think we got robbed, man, because like I said, I would love to see the Celtics, Thunder in the series, in the finals, go at it. Because like I said, it's kind of a mirror match, you know what I'm saying? But that could happen. See what I'm saying? So, but let's move on, man, to the East, man. The Knicks survived, man. It was looking ugly. It was looking ugly at some points. I thought the Pacers were trying to get them up out of there, but they survived. You got a game 6 tomorrow, so on Saturday. So hopefully we'll get a game 7.
But them Pacers do not want a game 7.
You sure? I mean, of course you don't want a game 7.
Yeah, because you do not want a game 7 in Madison Square Garden. I understand, we've seen them go in there and win it. But when you come up with but when you start the series 2-0 and you end up in a game 7, in the words of the great Bomani Jones, that lemon booty get to you. Tyrese Halliburton, you already had your 8-point game. You don't want to have another one. Hey, you came up clutch in these playoffs, but job's not done. So to me, your best bet. Go ahead, close this out at home.
Yeah.
Close this out at home, and go ahead and try and get onto these finals. Because
I think they can.
Yeah, for sure.
I think they can. It's like I said, it's back home. The energy is going to be, crazy. And I think they're going to understand that, like, yes, we don't want to go back to New York, like I said, for Game 7. Before we go really in depth, God dang, said Pacers will eliminate the Knicks in Madison Square Garden in Game 7 and break the Knicks fan.
That boy is scarred.
That boy is fully consistent on the cursed franchise in New York. If y'all know anything about Dane, you know that. You know what I'm saying? This is the part that I think the mainstream media has been pissing me off the most. I think once again, like, they dropped the ball this playoff, and not necessarily this playoff, more so the Western Conference and the Eastern Conference final. They had an opportunity to talk basketball, bro. They had an opportunity to explain what was going on. It was stuff to talk about, to break down the game, and like, they just took their low-hanging fruit or their bread and butter and started saying some of the most outlandish things, or taking the certain topics and just running with it. Like, all of a sudden, like, we get a game. Okay, they had a triple-double. I mean, Halliburton had a triple-double. And all of a sudden, the next topic the next day is he a superstar. Oh, do we really have to do this? Like, no.
And my thing is, do we really care? Who cares if he's a superstar or not? You want to know why? Because he's gotten his team to the Eastern Conference Finals twice.
I can't dismiss the do we care part aspect. Is because we are desperate. We had this topic before. We are desperate to find new stars. We are desperate to move on from Steph.
But here's my thing.
Move on from KD and Bron. Go ahead.
My thing is, yes, people are desperate to find new stars. But again, my thing is, what if I said the reason why I said football is so impactful is because people have been able to sell their team.
Yeah.
They even small market teams have giant fan bases.
Mm-hmm.
Don't just be like, oh, is he a superstar? And then you get Kendrick Perkins and all them dudes. Hell no, he ain't no superstar. Just talk about his greatness and like in the moment and what he's doing, and big him up that way. Big him up in Indiana Pacers lore. You know what I mean? Get like, because again, we talk about this in football a lot, and the reason why I'm going to say it because it can correlate. What turns a lot of these small market fans away from these shouty shows is you don't talk about our teams a lot. And then when you do, it's normally just for negative stuff or just be like, oh, they made it here, but who wants this? Like, it's going to be the league's worst nightmare if it's OKC in Indiana. Nobody cares that it's going to be the league's worst nightmare because there's a fan base that wants to see this. There's a fan base who hasn't been able to experience this. Say like again, like I was joking in the chat. I said, yo, Halliburton gonna get a statue before Reggie Miller does. You know, talk about stuff like that, what it means for the actual team and the fan base, and bring that into it, and just stop, segmenting just player this, player that, player this, player that. Like, there's a lot of things that this Indiana team does that you can talk about, even with the Knicks. Like,
hold on before we get to the Knicks, because I want to stay with the Pacers right quick. I want to make this point before we get to the next part. We are seeing when the Pacers are on their game, like all cylinders are going, they remind you of the Spurs. Now, think about the Spurs back then. The Tony Parker, Tim Duncan, Ginobili Spurs, and all that, right? That system of basketball. Think about when we saw it right there. We did not like that version of basketball back then.
Yeah.
Right? But now all we seeing is pick and roll and threes. We are really not really seeing offensive systems anymore. So it's a breath of fresh air actually seeing them move the ball and look like a cohesive offensive unit or cohesive team, period. So it gives the appreciation of seeing that style of basketball. And on top of that, we're seeing a traditional quintessential point guard play from Halliburton that we our era grew up seeing. So it's giving us that nostalgia feeling. We could have been talking about that when they were running, when they was on, like, not saying when they was on fire, but when they was up in this series, it was a time to talk about that, bro.
Yeah, and even still to talk about is Tyrese Halliburton a superstar? Don't just say, oh, is Tyrese Halliburton a superstar? Actually, like, talk about that performance that he put on, where it's what was it, 15 assists, 0 turnovers, and a triple double. Let's talk about don't just say, is he a superstar? Ask about, is this one of the greatest postseason performances you've ever seen? Bring in what does this mean for the game? Is this how does what kind of place does this version of game have in today's NBA, where we just kind of see just people looking to get their own shots and putting up threes, and say, like, can this style come back, or something, actually give us some layered conversations. Don't just be like, oh, is he a superstar? Oh, is Anthony Edwards? Why doesn't Anthony Edwards want to be the face of the league? It's like, can he be a superstar?
And to that point, when you say a layered conversation, and then when they had the Morris twins on there, and they was like, yeah, man, this team really ain't great, bro. What? Like, we don't care. Well, we don't care that they're not great, but they are playing great.
This team, we've seen great teams not make it to the Eastern Conference Finals twice in a row.
We've seen great teams not make it up. All right, but that's from the Indiana aspect. From that aspect, I felt that they dropped the ball. I felt that they dropped the ball on when it was time. Like, it's a time and a place for some of this goofy stuff. I get it. The mainstream is going to do what the mainstream do. We understand we'll get some ratings. We understand what it's going to do. We are not about to change this. You're not about to change what they do on there. Like I said, y'all can see, you can watch something else. Is really the thing that you can do. If you really want to get in-depth discussions and in-depth talks about what the game, you can go other outlets that you can listen to. But like I said, they had an opportunity. Like, some of this stuff they could have waited for. Like you said, you didn't have to just go straight to it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you didn't have to go, hey man, let's talk about the Cowboys. I'm just using that as an example. Like, you didn't have to do that. You know what I'm saying? It was we've been getting great games. Yeah. Talk about the game, bro. Now let's get to the Knicks aspect of it. Bro, you are not about to sit here and make it seem like Jalen Brunson is the problem. Like, I ain't going for that, bro. Because just last week or just yesterday, Jalen Brunson was the greatest Knick ever. You know what I'm saying? Now, all of a sudden, when they went on a little losing streak, they got a little razzle-dazzle, they got punched in the mouth. Now, all of a sudden, Brunson is the problem. And I get it. You can want, bro. Like, Jeff T was the one that's really spearheaded it. He was like, yo, his style of play is really not helping them right now. Hey, that's fine. Let that be the subject. Let that be the topic, and you stick with that. It's no need to deviate and go left and go further and make it bigger than what it is. And Gilbert Arenas podcast and other people start doing the same thing. Talk about that because his stagnant play was a deterrent in some of those games. But who won the game last time?
Yep, and what people fail to realize is a lot of times with this the headline and clickbait era that we're in, people fail to realize the next episode after the Knicks won, after Jalen Brunson was passing the ball and involving everybody, T came in and said, "Oh nah, he needed to hold the ball for 18 seconds." It's a reason he's doing that, because that's how that team wins.
But you don't hear that part.
Nobody hears that part. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I get it. Like prime example. When I listened to Gilbert Arenas episode, but they discussed this as well. Why isn't the Brunson Cat pick and roll a thing? Why is that not a thing? You know what I'm saying? You mean to tell me y'all can't figure that out? That's coaching.
Exactly. Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Now that's coaching. Now I get it. That ain't how y'all bread is butter. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes you gotta adjust. And like I say, they had no business losing game 1. This is the reason why they're in this position now. You lost game 1, you gave Indiana confidence, and this is what confidence looks like. You know what I'm saying? But it's just the fact that we didn't have to go to that far of the extreme of, can Brunson's style of play, is he the one holding them back? He's a deterrent and all that. And then next thing you know, he's mini Luka. He can't defend and all that. And I get it. His defense is bad. Like you said, it is bad because he had size limitations on why his defense.
And I was about to say, and he's little. He's a short point guard, and
they got the people for that though. Like say, that's why you got Josh Hart. That's why you got OG. That's why you got Miles. That's why you got Mitchell Robinson in the back. Like you have people to help negate that.
We've seen. I know it's different teams and different abilities, but they've hidden Steph before. You know what I'm saying? Like we've seen teams hide their point guards who are defensive liabilities. Shit, we've just seen teams in general hide players who are defensive liabilities, and because you have other players that are able to do it, then that's fine. What Tibbs really need to do is he got to get on Cat. Like, hey, dog, we need you to like. We understand why Jalen's a defensive liability. Yeah. You sir, you do not have that luxury. And at least just be big and in the way.
But we saw Cat play defense last year in the Western Conference Finals.
I know, but that's what I'm saying.
Cat played defense. Cat played the best defense on Jokic.
Yeah,
last year. So we know he's capable.
We know he can do it, and so that's the problem.
And this is the thing I want to highlight. This one, offense isn't Tibbs' strength, and that's what the Knicks need. I don't care how far they go in. If they make it to 7, even if they make it to the finals, I don't see them beating the Thunder. But Tibbs needs an offensive coordinator. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but that's the thing. And I was literally about to bring up that point that people only feel like basketball, that football has like an offensive coordinator, a defensive coordinator, and a head coach. But it's the reason why these basketball coaches have assistants as well. They have Tibbs is the defensive coach. He's about putting pressure on it, and that's another reason why he have guy play so many minutes, because he wants that consistent, lineup where he knows these guys are going to be my guys who I know can just lock down. But he needs someone else to come in and hey Tibbs, they're giving us this look on defense. This is probably a set that we need to run. I think he needs a guy who can kind of do a little bit better with that as well. And I think they could benefit because I don't think that Josh Hart is not an offensive, go and get your shot kind of guy, but he don't need to be that. Mikal Bridges is up and down, but guess what? He got the size, length and quickness where he can be your slasher and stuff. And like you said, I don't know why Jalen Brunson Cat pick and roll is not even in y'all Rolodex, but because guess what? If we just talked about him, if you're going to play OKC, you better want to run some pick and roll.
Trap coming. You know what I'm saying? The thing about and like I said, we definitely say he needs an offensive, offensive coordinator type of thing. But also they need to provide. They need a bench, bro. You need to save Tibbs from himself. Like you said, we get it. You don't really trust your bench. You know what I'm saying? Like I get it, bro. I don't really want to come off the bench with Landry Shamet. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Now he gave you some good minutes that game that one time. You know what I'm saying? But
bro, do I really want to come off the bench for us when we were in the finals? And
you feel what I'm saying? Like the only one you really trust is McBride.
Yeah,
coming off the bench. Like you need to set. This is the time that you need to start selling the New York allure for some of these vet minimums to come in and start checking, these bench roles and have some key depth. Like you say, Tibbs is who Tibbs gonna be, bro. You know what I'm saying? At this point, now you got to save him from himself. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you know, prime example, like we getting older. If you know you about to have a heavy night of drinking, what you gonna do, bro? You gonna hydrate before now, right? Because we older now. Right. So it's like we just can't just wake up and just go. Like, hey, look, we know we about to turn it up tonight, bro. I'm drinking Gatorade all day. So now I'm good. Like when it's game time for us to start drinking, whatever. Now we can handle what we about to do. You know what I'm saying? Save Tibbs from himself by getting him some bench depth. So now he can look to the bench and be like, I can play you. I can put you in. I can rest my guys a little bit longer.
Yeah, but see, and you know,
what we never gonna do.
I was just about to.
He was trolling.
I was just about to click on that comment, but it actually kind of plays into what I was about to say, and I think that's one of Tibbs' problems is not playing. You know that because some of those players, you know, what they provide on the defensive end, and because PJ Tucker is an older player, he's not going to be able to get in. But we do see what Miles McBride can do. But I think this is where they need to start looking and seeing about how they can, find some young athletes or something like that. Maybe some former draft picks who had a little bit of, a little bit of athleticism to them, and even some defensive prowess, but may not have, develop their offensive game, and so they're buried on somebody's bench and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And then Tibbs can kind of, get them to fit in his system, and you still have Jalen Brunson and Cat, and then you have young athletic players who gonna play defense and try and find some more Josh Harts. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And try and find some more Josh Harts, some players who who can defend, hustle, stuff like that, but may not be the best shooter, and you can extend your bench in a sense.
It's one of those things, man. I think they need to take a playbook page out the playbook of an old school approach.
Yeah,
they may need to get Cat involved early so he's engaged the entire game and he's still involved. And we know the same thing. You feed the big man, they play better defense. We've known this for forever. And then we know Brunson is the closer. It's other things that, like I say, it's other things that they can do. I'm not that upset with the Knicks. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not upset with them.
This is really my whole premise of why I was upset with the mainstream media of how they was discussing it. Like, I get it, Stephen A. He's a Knicks fan, and people in the Knicks are a major market, and they have a fan base. But at the end of the day, they were getting outplayed. They were getting outcoached. And like I say, we talk about matchups. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
So we don't need a drastic, once again, we don't need to make another drastic change of, oh man, we got to get Cat up out of here. We got to trade them, and they need KD. And like I say, we don't need this every time, bro. You know what I'm saying? Now, right. Are we finished with that aspect of how we feel about the game? How we felt about how they covering the game? Anything left to say about that?
I'm good.
Now, what you got game 6?
You mean as far as what do I see happening? What you mean?
Yeah, hold on. Let me get to a couple comments. McBride got to chill, though. He trying to force it. The dude got to get them jitters out. I mean, your point in making is 100% correct, but he's the reason why he comes off the bench. You know what I'm saying? It's a reason that he gives you. He's a bench player for a reason. He's a spark. He could be a spark.
And
he could,
it's funny. I actually heard Teague talk about this because he played with Tibbs. He was like, "Hey, you only gonna get them 6 minutes, so you got to try and make them 6 minutes count." and so that's what the thing's like. Hey, make it rain.
I may not see this rock no more.
This might be my only 6 minutes. I'm gonna get up 6 shots in these 6 minutes because guess what? And so I don't even like it. So I'm kind of with him there and say what you want. Like, that's how dudes get paid. You don't get some dudes don't get paid just sitting on the bench. Miles McBride ain't been around long enough where he can just be one of them dudes that teams are just gonna bring right. They're gonna bring in. It's like, all right, nah, you can get 40 million. Like, nah, Miles, I got a family to feed, dog.
TJ McConnell on me? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I gotta get my McBucket.
He check. He feel like he's standing at the rack.
And, I got Cat does that in dummy fouls. Like I can't vouch for that. Like
But
that's just personal.
he's been doing that since Minnesota, so it's almost like
it's just in your DNA.
Like,
it's nothing I can talk to you. It's no talking point. You know,
it's just a part of it. It's almost like when that trade happened, they like both teams thought that they was gonna get over on each other. Like, oh yeah, we about to send them Cat. He make these dumb. He said do the dumbest fouls and he'll fuck your whole momentum up. Oh, Julius Randle, a ball stopper. He gonna do this, and this. And it almost both worked out in the opposite ways for him. But sometimes some of those things just happen to rear their ugly head at the wrong time. So I think both teams got rid of the player that they thought they were getting rid of and got a player in a sense that they wanted back because they felt like, all right, if we can just get this player out of that, then we'll be fine. And for the most part, it was able to work, as you see, because both of these teams are in. You know, that both of the teams made it to the conference finals in their respective conference.
The trade did what it was supposed to do for both teams.
Exactly. The only thing that I can say with the trade on the Knicks perspective is, boy, a DiVincenzo would be nice right about now.
That's the missing piece. That is the missing piece.
A DiVincenzo would be nice right about now.
Like, it would be so lovely, man. Let me get this off the screen. I'm sorry. That's really who they're missing. But it's like, of course, you had to give one to get some. So I understand. But let's get back to Game 6. What you think about gonna happen with Game 6? Because that's right the important game, like you said. Because I can feel if you already said it, if they get back to New York, you're a little nervous. So
right, yeah, they get back to New York, I'm a little nervous. But if we talk about this all the time, especially since the bubble. Home is where the role players play their best, and so that's where I think Tyrese, you can't you got your stinker out, you got your stinker out your system, dog.
Yeah,
we need that other Tyrese back, and then if you can get those games from Nembhard and Naismith like you got before, and then Pascal Siakam and Miles Turner just do what they're capable of doing, you can lock this thing up. But to me, it all sits with Tyrese Halliburton and what Tyrese Halliburton is going to come out doing. And if he can come out, exploit, if those matchups that he got Jalen Brunson on him and stuff like that. And if, his shots are falling. And then, like I said, if Nembhard and Naismith, if they can knock down some shots, they're going to be in a good spot. If any of those three players don't show up, we might be back in New York, man. And like I said, not a place you want to be because Scott Foster pulling up again. Because we said Scott Foster was pulling up for Game 3, and he did.
He pulled up.
If Scott Foster got to come for Game 7 so they can get New York in there, hey, I'm not a conspiracy theorist or anything, but I'm just saying.
You can only blame themselves, bro. And like you said, you have no business going to game. You have no business going back to New York.
You was up 2-0, and I understand they put the fix in Game 3, but
this is going to sound like a hedge, but it is what it is. I do have Indiana winning Game 6. I think they're going to go all out to the aspect of, like you said, we don't want to go back to New York. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
I think the energy in the arena is going to, fuel everything that they need to do. I think Halliburton's going to have a good game. I think Siakam's going to have a good game. I think they're just going to do what they've been doing at home. Now, sure. I think New York is going to come out because, once again, New York can't come out flat. I think New York is going to come out and punch them in the face too. I think there's going to be a slugfest. You know what I'm saying? I don't see a blowout. I don't see a controlled game of, Indiana just controlled the entire game and all that. I just feel that it's going to be a close game. I just feel like Indiana is going to win this game. If Indiana loses this game, New York is going to the finals. Brunson is going to go off in Game 7. I do not care about none of that. Nobody else is saying. He's going to go off 440 if they go back to New York for Game 7. Like, they're going to be the only game that we care about on that night. It's going to get nasty if they go back to New York.
Yeah. You do not is what you do is what you do not want that. So don't allow it to happen. You know what I mean? Just handle your business. You're at home. Go to the hey, knock these dudes out of the playoffs at home. Get your celebration on and get ready for the finals, dog. That's all you got to do.
I'm rooting for a good game. I'm not rooting for the Pacers. I don't have no ill will towards the Knicks. You know what I'm saying? My 5% from Harlem is rooting for the Knicks. So, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't have nothing ill will. I'm just giving my analysis. So, you know what I'm saying? We get out, if your line brother see this and he comes from we ain't got nothing to do that. But anything else on the East Conference Finals?
Nope, not yet. I'm good.
All right, man. Let's get this rapid fire out of the way, man. Oh man, we got 2 minutes, man. So let's go ahead and get this on the board. And I got a set of questions for you, or you got one ready, or you want me to go? You ready to set it off?
Go ahead, set it off.
All right. I'm hearing the SEC and the Big Ten are ready to break off from the NCAA. How you feel?
It's the dumbest shit ever. It's the dumbest shit ever, and I'm sick of it. Because guess what? If the SEC and the Big Ten break off from the NCAA, how you making these kids go to class?
Come on now. I'm gonna stop you right there because I know you have way more to go, and we only on the time clock. But also in NCAA basketball, they thinking about expanding the tournament. How you feel about that?
Dumbest shit ever. You know what? If you ever have any questions about the NCAA or SEC, Big Ten, or whatever the case may be, I'm almost certain my answer is going to be the dumbest shit ever. Let's go.
All right, we got to fight tomorrow, man. We got a co-main event. We got Charlo returning, and Plant is returning too on a little hiatus, Hopefully, this fight is going to be the preview for the fight that we really want to see between Charlo and Plant. So, do you think both fighters handle business tomorrow?
Both fighters handle business tomorrow, and if one of the fighters doesn't handle business, they will have a long road back to relevancy. If they can get there.
Oh man, I feel you on that. Oh man, our one of my favorites, LA Sparks representative Cameron Brink on her podcast was speaking to Deja Kelly about expansion of the WNBA rosters. And they said they just need to expand the rosters. How do you feel about that?
They should have expanded the rosters before they even put in expansion teams. To me, that should have been the number one goal: expanding the rosters, allowing more players to be on these teams, and then I think that would have allowed you to be able to play more games just with the teams that you had, instead of adding teams and adding travel, which has already been a topic of discussion for you in contention. How'd I do it in 2 minutes?
You did good. You took all my time. But
my fault.
But all I want to say about the expansion of the rosters for the WNBA, it's a great plan, and I'm not trying to dismiss nothing that they want to prosper their league. But at the same time, you got to crawl before you walk. Y'all are really trying to get more money. More rosters means less money because y'all are not getting the revenue that you're asking for yet. So I do think that that is eventually going to come. Once the revenue hits, I think the more roster spots will actually come. I do think that they should have expanded with another team though, because at the end of the day, whatever plan
they are expanding with another team. So
maybe we don't necessarily need.
I think it's 2 or 3 teams actually.
So we may not necessarily need another roster expansion. I get it. That's their league. That's their plan. Hey, I'm good at it. If y'all want it, y'all like it, I love it. But at the end of the day, whatever it is, we never want to see a first round draft pick not make the team. Like whatever, they got to fix that ASAP.
But that's one of the reasons why I said you should put extra roster spots in first before expanding doing an expansion team. Because again, like I said, travel has already been contentious for the WNBA. But if you expand, to me, if you expand the roster spots, 3 spots for all the teams that already exist, that allows you to get, more players in. It allows you to kind of, allow some of those first round picks time to kind of, acclimate to the W, because as we've all talked about, hey, the W is not easy. You know what I mean? That is not an easy transition. So allowing them to, be able to kind of play their way into the W, that would have helped. And I think having those teams already puts you in a place where you have the structure. You know what I mean? Yeah. So you're not just adding teams and then now, trying to build that fan base. To me, it's more, hey, let's cultivate the fan bases we got right now.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of times, like, how many, like, when you go through like sports, how many expansion teams really be like, all right, they start booming? Like, I'm trying to think, let's think. Let's go football. Jags. Nah.
Well, I mean, the Jags really got they
had a moment.
The Jags and the Panthers was they came in the
same year,
and they both went to the Super Bowls. They got it rocking a little faster than usual. You know what I'm saying?
I'm talking about is hardcore fan bases to build up revenue. That's what I'm talking about.
It's like I said, it's hard to get a city. Like I said, I mean, OKC wasn't a new team, but they seen the fan base when they had to get there. So it's all about the cities. We'll be here all night if we start discussing that. But I think like you said, I think Miss Brink and Deja Kelly was on her was the guest on her episode, and she was a product of not enough roster spots because she had an amazing preseason, but she was on the Aces. Like you literally, I mean, I think she was undrafted, to be quite honest. Please, if I misspoke, please correct me. But I believe she went undrafted. You damn near had to be Asia Wilson to make that team, bro. Like
exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So it was already an uphill battle, but she did everything right. Like she hit a game winner in the preseason and everything. So
carve out
if they had an additional roster spot, I'm pretty sure that she would have made it. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, but they had a long list of first round draft picks that didn't make their team. Like they cannot have that going on any further. You know what I'm saying?
And one of the things that I like we say with roster expansion, even if you gotta do something like a practice squad or something like that, or do the Unrivaled, do like Unrivaled or something like that. Make Unrivaled damn near like a development league. After some of the like keep the Unrivaled thing going, and have some of once the big names leave, put some of the new faces or the faces that's sticking around, in the league, like Chrissy, Kajibizek, like Jaylen Brown girl.
Yeah, I knew it. I was messing with you.
like you know what I mean? Like, because there's some hoopers that's not in the W right now.
Yeah, and it's like I say, it's unfortunate that, like I said, with the rosters, with the rosters currently constructed, is like I said, it's hard, man. But they are on the way to progression. Like I say, it's a steady uptick. You know what I'm saying? They're on the roller coaster. They're going at this point. But we are the three man. I want to appreciate everybody that tuned in with us on Facebook or and on YouTube Live. If you're catching us live or you're gonna catch us on the playback, we appreciate you to the fullest, man. I am Hill. That's AJ. Some of y'all the fours, some of y'all the Fab Five. We are out.